In front of me, I have the new model of already bloated lineup of Samsung flagship phones. From a company that apparently cares about environment, they seem to pump out a lot of shit constantly. This is a fourth flagship in the lineup for some reason. Just wasn't released at the same time as something like the S25 or S25 Ultra. Because they needed a little bit more time to cook this crap up. So yeah, obviously based on my harsh opinion, you can probably guess there is no charger in here. And the reason I'm pointing that out is because, like I said, a company that claims to care about the environment, they seem to be polluting it with just absurd amounts of phones. So they have only 4 flagships, I guess, instead of just one. Then they have like another couple of mid-range devices, couple meaning like probably more than 3, and even lower end. So yeah, like there is plenty of phones that Samsung pumps out every single year. So anyway, in here, wait, no fucking way, there is not even a charger in here. These can't seriously take out a charge or cable. No, there we go. As already being sketched out that they might not have even included a cable with the phone, but at last there is one. They haven't taken that out just yet. Anyway, peeling that off, we have this razor thin phone, which you can use as a just wedge to pick locks or something. Yeah, man. Chop chop, boot up. There we go. So I do have a S25 right here as my main driver, and you can kind of get a glimpse in terms of thickness. It is significantly thinner than the S25. While weight-wise, it feels like this phone is actually heavier. It might be because I have a tempered glass on here. But yeah, so this is a very small, light phone. In terms of bezels, it seems to still hold up with Samsung's like very small bezels. And this is going to be rocking a 6.7-inch display, 1440 by 3120 pixels, LTPO AMOLED display, 120Hz refresh rate, HDR10 Plus certified, 92.1% screen to body ratio, and 513 pixels per inch, covered at the corner Gorilla Glass ceramic 2. Yeah, that was a mouthful. And basically, in general terms, it's what we already had on the S25 lineup, so it doesn't seem like there's much of a difference. Let me just quickly compare this to the S25 Plus. As in terms of size-wise, I think this is, the same kind of size, right? Yep, same size, same display. Although the display apparently has 91.8% screen to body ratio compared to the 92.1 that this one has. So this apparently has even thinner bezels than the Plus. Will you notice that couple decimals of a percent difference? Probably not. The thing that you will most certainly notice is the thickness of the phone. I also want to point out that in terms of the design right here, we have absolute chunkers of a camera bump, considering just the general thickness of the phone. This actually might be as thick as the phone itself. So Samsung has done this kind of neat trick to hide it away. So we have 2 steps onto it. So you have first bump right here, which is already pretty significant, and then another one right here that is even bigger. So this is the actual camera right here. If we compare it to the S25, just actually put it side by side, and resting my phone on the cameras, you can see a clear massive gap between the phone. Like, if I were to put my phone's camera at the back right here, just as an example, you can see it's not even clearing the first bump. So yeah, so this bump right here is already bigger than the cameras on the S25, and then you have this one, which is even bigger. So yeah, this is an island, like literally here, climbing grip almost, but it is blending into the phone pretty well because of the design of being like kind of two different points, so it just kind of, you know, smooths over the back, which is pretty good decision, I would say, because if they just made it these two pop-ups, yeah, that would have been like a periscope right here, just popping out of the phone. Now, let's talk about the other aspects of this phone, so we can continue with the disappointment. And continuing with the disappointment is the charging speed of this phone. It's a pathetic 25 watts. Are you fucking kidding me, Samsung? What is this? It's a flagship device at over $1,000 price. It's literally riving the price of the same price as the Ultra. And yet this garbage ass phone comes with a 25 watts of charging speed. It's just, at this point, just either make your phones explode or don't produce them at all, I would say. It also supports 15 watts of wireless charging, which is awfully close to just a wired charging, to the point that, you know what, you might have just ditched the wired charging altogether. Now in terms of battery size, another disappointment in here, which is the size of it. This is a measly 3900 mAh battery from a device that has a screen size of 6.7 inches. It's pretty, like, comically small for the size of the phone. Now, partially it is due to the thickness, I cannot deny that one, but partially it's due to the fact that Samsung decided to be stupid asses and not include a carbon-based battery in here. So we still have the lithium-ion ones because they're cheaper. In a flagship device for $1,200. Yay! Don't you feel so good about yourself? Oh boy. Anyway, I also want to point out comically, this S25, the small little boy, has a 100 mAh bigger battery than this. Amazing. Anyway, now continuing with the phone and internals, we have a Snapdragon 8 Elite. That's good. And 12 gigabytes of RAM, which is the only option. But you do have 256 or 512 gigabytes of storage as options, with no expandable storage, unfortunately. Presumably because the excuse is the phone is now too small, which I guess begs the question, wasn't the Ultra too small already to fit an SD card? If that was it, how come this one, like, or the other way, if this one isn't able to fit it, how isn't the Ultra not able to fit one? Because that excuse now starts to completely fall apart. Yeah, I'm just kind of pointing out Samsung's bullshit excuses all throughout. Now, I guess the good part about this phone over the Plus will be the cameras, actually. So the main sensor right here is the 200 megapixel f1.7 24mm wide sensor with 12 megapixel ultra wide. Now with this camera you can record at 8K 30 frames, 4K at 60 with slow motion of 120 and so on if you go lower down the resolution. And at the front we have a 12 megapixel wide sensor that does also 4K 60. So that's basically most of the info about this phone. It is running Android 15 with One UI 7, and obviously it will support the 6-year upgrades most likely. What is that Samsung supports? Oh, 7, sorry. So 7-year life cycle. So you can obviously use this phone for a little bit longer than a couple of years. Now, I do want to point this out just because it's something that affected me recently. This is Samsung. And I just kind of want to level here. I am not looking for partnership with them. So this will be completely honest and completely unadulterated shitting session on Samsung. Because people should know what they're getting themselves into before they actually purchase something that is absolutely overpriced and a company that wants to literally F them in the ass. So, when you're spending money like this on a phone, you'd expect it to be absolutely flawless, to give you a flagship performance. But guess what company is a prime suspect to basically shafting their customers after the purchase? If you would be thinking Samsung, you would be correct. And one of those prime examples would be things like their TVs being patched up with a new update that's supposed to improve it by decreasing the performance of the device so you are more inclined to buy a newer one. or pushing an update to a soundbar that is a year old because new one is coming out. That completely fucking bricks it. Yes, I'm speaking from experience right here. I now have a over $1,000 worth of a soundbar that isn't working properly anymore, or almost at all. And when you're also spending this kind of money, you should be aware of the competition. This is a competition. This is ZTE Red Magic 10 Air. Now, it's not going to be as thin of a phone as something like the Samsung, but I just want to kind of give you a perspective of other devices and what the value of the components is. So this is primarily gaming phone. I do want to stress this out, but ZTE also has odd ones, for instance, like the Z70 Ultra, which is about the same size and screen-wise about similar. Actually, the Z70 Ultra has a bit more of a screen-to-body real estate. This one is a little bit on the smaller side. And you might see that there's no camera because it's under the display, because ZTE isn't stock in 2015 like Samsung is. And also the battery in here is a over 6,000 mAh battery. While the thickness of the phone is about just a little bit more than what my normal Samsung is, the S25. I don't exactly remember if it's 6,000 or even more. The Z70 Ultra, which is a camera-based phone with a much bigger sensor than what we have right here in terms of how much light it lets in, will run you less than half of what this phone costs. And it will basically give you 100 watt charging, or 80 watts, one of those two, about 7,000 mAh battery, and cameras that certainly take better photos at night than what Samsung offers, and in general, as a comparison even to this one, considering this is flagship, might be the lower end, I don't give a shit. It's a flagship. It's labeled as an S, meaning it's the top of the line phone that comes with a crappier cameras than, for instance, other top of the line same models. If it's confusing, that's because it is. So when I compared this phone to the Z70 Ultra, which is half of the price, yeah, the Samsung just completely gets shit on. There is like no comparison. The quality of low light photos, for instance, is just uncomparable. The videos were looking better, and generally camera experience on this Samsung is so piss poor that a iPhone 13 is taking better photos, videos in general than this. So if we have the same kind of experience as we have on the S25, like, why would you go for this? If it's getting outperformed in terms of camera department by a, what is it, 3-4-year-old phone from Apple? This is supposed to be a flagship. Yeah, Samsung screwed up something with their cameras, I presume. I haven't tested out these ones, but I did test out the normal, the S25 and the Ultra. And both of them, I would say, were roughly about the same in terms of how piss poor they were at taking just general camera-related content. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say. I don't really have much positive to say about Samsung anymore, as I've been completely screwed by them multiple times. So I genuinely cannot recommend these phones. There will be a lot of shills that will. After all, you know, Samsung is one of the biggest companies. But at this point, I'm too sketched out that a year later, after you buy this phone, it will stop working. It will get an update that will break it or slow it down. And you're basically stuck with a piece of shit that you paid full price, that after the purchase, someone decided to come in, change the terms of your purchase, change how the device functions, because they have a newer model. This is not something that I can recommend ever. So anyway, with that being said, hopefully you found this video helpful. And if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.